everyone, my name is Carl Johnson with Cleared Systems, and today I would like to talk to you about the differences between ISO 9001, ISO 27001, and ITAR Compliance. This is great if you are a service provider, a manufacturer, or a defense contractor. First up, we're going to talk about ISO 9001, and you'll see there 2015. That's just the latest version of ISO 9001. With ISO 9001, it is a quality control certification. It is geared towards organizations that want to make sure that the product or the service they provide is consistent and that there is always improvement over time. Additionally, with ISO 9001, the focus is making sure that the whole entire organization is going through with the exact same process. You can't have stakeholders going through one process and then your supply chain going through another. In order for ISO 9001 to work, the whole entire organization has to adopt the certification and making sure that everyone's on the same page. With ISO 27001, and again, this is the latest version, 2022, the focus is most definitely around security. Now, its counterpart on the federal side, which is NIST 800-171, which also has controls, look at ISO 27001 as the commercial set. Some organizations have both and have gone through both controls with ISO 27001 along with NIST 800-171. I put this in here just so you can see the difference and that you may hear it come up time and time again, especially if you're talking about ISO 9001. With ISO 27001, really the main purpose and the main goal is protecting sensitive information. If you have confidential information inside your organization, let's say you're a manufacturer and you have blueprints, CAD drawings, etc., you want to make sure that your systems are protected. Regardless of whether or not you're looking at NIST 800-171 or ISO 27001, both are great when it comes to understanding where your weaknesses is as an organization and making sure you do everything possible to protect your sensitive information and along with making sure that you reduce risk overall. Now, where does ITAR come with all this? So ITAR is not directly linked to the last two, but ITAR is more so targeting organizations that have anything to do with defense contracting, specifically around importing or exporting anything that is on the USML list, which is your controls list. The most important parts of ITAR compliance is one, registration. Even if you are not importing or exporting items that or categories that are on the USML list, it's still important to register. This may include maybe you're doing business with a prime defense contractor. You still should register with DDTC. Additionally, if you are an organization that is working with organizations in other countries, the protection of technical data is important. Unlike most of the certifications next up we have ITAR Compliance. If you work with a prime defense contractor, ITAR Compliance is most definitely your direction. If you manufacture widgets, if you're a service provider and you provide defense training, especially to, let's say, the U.S. military or different agencies, ITAR Compliance should be on your list of things to look at. Additionally, with ITAR Compliance, even if you don't plan on exporting, you still should register with DDTC because you may come in hand with things that are on the USML list, which I'll go over in future videos, and you can also look at some of my past videos on the USML list and what exactly is on there. One of the most important parts of ITAR compliance is understanding the classification. Many times when we work with companies, don't necessarily understand where exactly their product or their service fits in with the USML. That is an important part of ITAR compliance. Even if you are creating a COTS product, it's still important that you understand what classification your organization or your product is taking up and how to align it with USML lists. So looking at the comparison between the three, like I said, ISO 9001 focuses specifically on quality control. ISO 27001 focuses on information security, and ITAR Compliance, or ITAR in general, focuses on defense manufacturers and also service providers. Again, if you're creating any kind of training or providing any kind of materials, then ITAR Compliance should be the direction that you go. Looking at this further and seeing if we have a common element between all three, the common element between all three is most definitely the documentation requirements, along with auditing, along with management's commitment. There, I think, especially in ITAR compliance, having management on board is basically whether or not you either succeed or fail when it comes to ITAR compliance. Training is another. You can't really be ITAR compliant without having a set ITAR compliance training plan, along with a TCP, which is your technical control plan. That is really your common elements between all three. All are very important, but if you're a defense contractor, ITAR compliance is mandatory, especially if you are working with a prime defense contractor. It's not necessarily an option at that point versus ISO 9001 or ISO 27001 certification are optionals. They help you with your business, but it's not as important as ITAR compliance if you are a defense manufacturer. And further in studying, if we're looking at controls, after all the three, the document control with ISO 9001, there is the same kind of document controls, training, each require training, risk management, each require risk management controls, supplier management, each have supplier management, internal audits, each have internal audits. And that's really where all three combine at that point. That's really the only combination of the three that are the same. In conclusion, with ISO 27001 is again more targeted towards information security. ISO 9001 targeted towards quality control, and then ITAR is targeted towards defense contractor. Now, even if you create one product for a prime defense contractor, you are now technically a defense contractor, and ITAR compliance is for you as well. So think before you work with a prime defense contractor, and make sure that you are registered with DDTC. Make sure that you are compliant when it comes to ITAR. ISO 9001 will not help you when it comes to ITAR compliance. It helps in a way that it does make sure that you are looking at the quality controls in your organization, but does not help when it comes to making sure that you are compliant with DDTC's role with protecting technical data. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions whatsoever, please leave them down below. I most definitely check in and will answer any questions that you have.